Hi everyone, I'm Anurag Mukherjee introducing a brand new podcast, Outlier podcast, and today is the inaugural episode. I have Sumit Grover with me. Hi Sumit, how are you doing?
Hi, Anurag. I'm doing great. How are you today?
Sumit, I'm doing great. Firstly, thanks a lot for agreeing to be a inaugural guest in the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I want to just quickly talk about why the podcast, right? Uh, Before this actual recording, we are just talking to Sumit and, a few minutes back, the reason for the podcast. So typically the podcast is designed, or rather it's a tribute to what I call outliers, people who do not fit into the mold, outliers, rather the round pegs in square holes, and overall the revolutionaries, right, who have had a very different path, both across personal life, across professional life, and have done something significant that I personally, with all conviction, do believe that this is something very different. So I found Sumit to be one among them, a very different career trajectory, moving from a huge, large bank right now to a credit union. Plus, moving to US, decades back, getting into a new culture, etc. So I could find a lot of similarities and actually a story of an outlier per se, right? So I'll do a quick introduction, Sumit, of yours. I know, I might not do the best of best jobs, but at least let me, take a stab at it. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is Sumit Grover for us. Sumit is the Chief Marketing and Digital Officer for Alliant Credit Union. All of us know who Alliant Credit Union is, one of the most progressive all digital credit union in this country. So prior to Alliance, Sumit spent close to 2 decades at Citibank, leading digital transformation for Citibank. Uh, it's an interesting move that Sumit made from again talking about Citi to Alliant. That's something which we'll talk about. Sumit, apart from his daily job, right, he's really, really passionate about, talking about his work. He is a featured author across multiple journals, multiple thought leadership forums, starting with Forbes to American Banker to Payments. So Sumit, that's amazing, right? So I just wanted to give a primer about that. I hope, Sumit, I've been able to do maybe 80% justice to your introduction. If not, maybe you can just add something.
That is great, Anurag. Awesome introduction. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you, appreciate it, Sumit. So one starting question, right, which I want to start with: what keeps you going? I mean, you've got a huge overarching role at Alliant. Would want to listen to that.
Oh, the ability to wow our members. That's where it all starts, right? Anurag, one of the differentiators for us, one, of course, being in the credit union space, being extremely member centric and focused, it gives us the ability to do every single task we do and tie it back to the mission in terms of how we are looking to provide the best possible experiences. Genuinely, that's very exciting. That alone is more than enough. But then you add other elements to it in terms of disrupting the banking norms, making banking easier, providing the financial tools and capabilities to members across digital channels. Our focus is members, our community, and our employees. And I get the ability to do that. And that's what keeps me going. It gets me very, very excited.
That's amazingly enriching. Members to your community. I mean, tying all of them. That's fantastic to hear. So I know your current role is you're leading digital and marketing, the entire charter for Alliant, right? But still, I want to hear about your current role at Alliant. If you want to talk about how does a typical day look like, or maybe what's your current role at the credit union?
Yeah, for sure. It's a very, very exciting role. I get to wear so many different hats and work with so many talented people over here. So as you mentioned, right, I get the opportunity to work with some of the best folks on the marketing side of the business, both from an external and internal perspective. And what I mean by that is internally working on different campaigns and strategies so that we can communicate to our members the different value propositions we offer. Now, there's the element of marketing and there's also the element of servicing. So communications more holistically, working on the content on a day-to-day basis, looking at the different value propositions our product provides and how we can communicate that and make it simpler. Then we also have the external communication, things like this conversation we are having right now. I get to meet some of the best industry experts like yourself and talk about some of the fun stuff we are doing, but also showcasing, the different products and services we have, which we'll probably get to later. I also get a chance to work with our very, very talented digital team. Being at the forefront, I think you mentioned it at the very beginning, we are digital only,
Yes.
which practically means that we have no branches, minimal to no overhead expenses related to that. And that's the value we can give back to our members. Now, to do that, we want to provide the best possible experiences, extremely seamless, safe, and secure transactions and interactions members would have with our financial platform. And that would include different elements of product design from a digital perspective, the features and capabilities our app will offer or the browser environment will offer, our public websites, what you see in terms of the different transactions you would do, either it be in different payment forums or swiping your card or adding your card to your digital wallet. But then there's also the element of UX and UI. How do we make the message very clear? How do we make it simple to open an account with us, to fund an account, or to pay a bill? Uh, that all falls within the digital sphere. I also get a chance to work with our talented product leads. So I manage product and P&L for the credit union as well. So looking at different deposit strategies or different lending strategies and kind of bringing it together from a perspective of managing the P&L so we can drive a better business and being a non-for-profit organization, pass that value back to our members and bring it all to life. So that's probably what my day-to-day looks like.
That sounds interesting, and that sounds really interesting, Sumit. I was really intrigued by one of the mentions in a very recent Forbes article that you were put in, right? I mean, quantifying the actual dollar value that you passed on to your members because of being all digital. I haven't really heard that kind of a metric ever any financial institution reporting out, right? So that intrigued me. Do you want to talk about that maybe for the next, half a minute? I mean,
For sure. Anurag, coming from a banking environment and you work with different banks and credit unions, having shareholders, it's a very different interaction you would have because you're looking at the analyst value and providing the best value for your shareholders. That's an okay model. On the credit union side, we look at it from a very member centric perspective. Members own us, we are owned by our members, we are not for profit. So the value we generate, we want to pass it back to our members. You're probably referring to the numbers you saw, a little over 400 million in terms of value we provided back to our members last year. Given you have invited me to this podcast and we haven't shared this more broadly, for 2024, we are looking at almost over 500 million. I would say over 520 million at this point that we would be providing in terms of outstanding value proposition for our members versus compared to an average financial institution. Now, that would come in forms of lower loan rates, higher deposit rates. So, for example, if you have a car loan or a personal unsecured loan or a mortgage or a home equity or a credit card, we want to provide you the lowest possible rates we can. And not having branches, we can bring that value to you. On the savings side, if it's a certificate of deposit or it's a high rate checking account or a savings account, we want to provide you the best value your money can earn while you keep it with us. And when we add all of that, Anurag, the number for this year we are tracking to is going to be about $981 per core member. So being a valued member for us is what benefit we can provide to you. And if we can generate over $900 in value if you were banking
huge.
with us versus elsewhere, that makes us proud of the work we do.
Absolutely. That possibly even motivates me to move my checking account to Alliant.
So, Anurag, why would you think about doing that? I would have thought you might have already done that.
I still haven't, but I definitely should plan the next quarter itself to move that. 980 is not joke. It's a tremendous amount of money, that you're passing to your member, and that's amazing. I mean, I don't have any words to describe per se. I hate it for sure. Again, change of mindset, right? Coming from a huge, large bank like a Citibank to one of the progressive credit unions. So you've seen the credit union grow transform, digitally, right? So what motivated you to make the move from Citi to a brand? If you can, I mean, that's something I think, which I experienced a couple of years back, coming from the banking to the credit union ecosystem. But till the time I moved into the ecosystem, I think this is where I belong, right? So what motivated you, Sumit?
Yeah, I've had an amazing career at Citi and I learned so much. $1.7 trillion, it's amazing what you can do globally. And it builds you, right? You work with some of the best people, you learn some of the best things, and that experience comes with you. Where I got a chance to really take it to the next level by moving to not just any credit union but Alliant is the opportunity to be a part of an organization that is boldly disrupting how people go about banking. And this is all while we are pioneering what fully digital credit union space could look like. I'm sure you've done your research. If you look around, you won't see any institute like us in terms of fully digital. So, one of the things you'll hear me speak about is fully digital, fully human, full of possibility. That's the difference that we aim to provide here. You can call us 24/7. We will handle that call for you and we'll address that for you. You can do digital self-serve on any feature of or capability you would want. Our award-winning app will provide that to you. That innovation and the ability to disrupt. And just building on disrupt for a second, we were one of the first to eliminate overdraft fee, the value that we just spoke about in the previous question. Think about the value we can provide to the member by not charging an overdraft fee, by not charging non-sufficient fund fee. That is true wowing our members. Creating that experiences, being nimble in terms of how we provide those services, being agile in terms of how we innovate, and then thinking member first disruption is what drew me. I haven't looked back since.
That's so pleasing to hear. I mean, our friends who are still, I mean, obviously, I mean, no hard feelings with people who work for banks, but people like me and who have moved from banks to credit unions, now we get, I think, a broader purpose, right? That why do we show up every day at work? Because we are making difference. Our focus is not P&L. Our focus is helping people helping people, and that too, in all digital ecosystem, this is very, very there. So I mean, this is a very well crafted answer, I would say. Now, obviously, I mean, I sound like a broken record from bank to credit union, but again, the last question across that, right? So how did you cope up, transition from a customer to being member centric? It's a whole brand new mindset altogether, right? So how do you do that?
I think that's a very easy one, actually, Anurag. Sometimes we get stuck in the process and terminology, but let's be realistic. Banking or credit union space, any financial services, the ultimate goal is providing the best value for your customer, your client, your member. But having that mindset in terms of every decision I make, I want to be sure first that this is going to be the right decision for the member. And the example I'll give over here is the elimination of the overdraft fee. That comes at a cost for any financial institution. Do you want to give up that fee, or do you want to make a decision and provide the best service for your member, realizing that the money you're going to bring in is going to be less than what you were previously doing? I think that's where that mindset or that approach differentiates. We all want to do great for our client base. We all believe in engagement. We all believe in loyalty and rewarding our members and our clients, our customers. But the differentiating factor is when we have to make tough decisions like that. When we have to make a decision between, hey, the rate that we are going to offer our members, is it just competitive or is it better than being competitive? The value proposition we provide, how does that differentiate? I'll give you one example. We have a credit card, our signature credit card that we offer. It offers 2.5% cashback. 2.5% cashback is richer than any other cashback product, a simple, straightforward cashback product you'll find in the marketplace on all category of spend. So for example, if you were paying if you're buying grocery or you're doing a digital transaction in terms of, say, a purchase online, or if you were just paying your car insurance premium, you would get a 2.5% cashback across the board. So there's one way to think of it as, hey, I want to provide value to my customer by giving them choices, As a member, what I think is, what is the best value I can provide? Hey, if 2.5% is the richest proposition I can provide, not having branches, having a digital platform, being agile, being cost effective, let me pass that value to the member, let them benefit from it. That is where we differentiate in terms of being disruptive, being all digital, bringing that efficiency, and then giving back to the members in ways that are larger than most traditional institutions can offer. Um, I think that's where you will notice in the value proposition, in the servicing, and in terms of ensuring our members have the best possible financial wellness.
That's a huge, huge tectonic shift, right? I mean, reducing the OPEX altogether, removing the OPEX altogether. I mean, remove the branch expenses and pump all that up into digital. Because at the end of the day, it's CX, right? It's consumer experience, customer experience, member, whatever you say, right? If you're enhancing that, that bumped up with the best in class rates. I think that's what you need a financial institution to do. And Sumit, with all honesty, I think that's another reason because of which Alliant has seen a phenomenal growth in the past few years. Because you guys are very, very clear, laser sharp on what you offer, how you offer, and who are the members that you target, right? So it's very focused towards that, right? Now it's been a topic of discussion. I mean, when I go to credit union conferences, even banking conferences nowadays, right? Alliant is a topic that everyone loves to talk about. It's a use case per se right now. I mean, all digital, having the credit union, experience or that motto of people first, member first, but all digital. I know we spoke a lot about it, but I mean, if you want to talk about how does it feel to be a all digital financial institutions, but again having the principles of a credit union intact, that members matter the most. We are a non-profit organization and we pass on whatever we have to our members. If you want to spend maybe a couple of pointers on that, I think that is something very unique about Alliant.
Yeah, thanks for asking that. That's very thoughtful. I would put it in the bucket of what I call our three S's: savvy, selfless, and socially responsible. That's the lens we look at when we think about answering the question you just asked. Just going a little deeper. When I say savvy, I mean savvy employees offering products to savvy clients and members. We want to ensure, and digital provides us that media where we can educate our members on what is the best outcomes that they should be looking for. And that could be across different product services. I manage a host of products. So we spoke about, say, deposits or lending, but we also have retirement. We have insurance products and services. We have investments products and services. So when I'm thinking more holistically, I'm thinking in terms of being extremely savvy, understanding the macro environment, understanding the needs of our members, and then offering them what would be the best possible solutions that we can provide to them. One example I'll give over there is, our members shared with us, hey, you're digital only. We want access to cash. What do we do? Hey, take your debit card and go to any ATM. Anurag, any ATM.
Yeah.
We will not charge you a fee because we reimburse our members up to $20 a month for any external fee a third party ATM might charge. So if you go within our network, there's definitely no fee. But if you decide to go external, go to the closest ATM that you have, swipe the card. Don't worry about that fee because we have you covered. We at this point have a bigger ATM network than the largest bank in the country. And we can provide that, and in addition to that, ensure that if you were using a third party, non-aligned network, go ahead and swipe that card and don't worry about that fee because we feel we want to provide you that service that you deserve as being an aligned credit union member and owning us. The second piece, so the first is savvy, second is selfless. Think member first. Think of what that digital self-serve provides you in terms of servicing capabilities and also capabilities that you would think of essential features, be it payments or more innovative features that you're thinking about as you maybe swipe your card or tap your card, or you want to just put it on your phone and tap your phone and you use that in your wallet. How do we get to a place where we can be selfless in terms of creating that value proposition where members come first for us. And then finally, social responsible, we have a very strong foundation arm. We are looking at any given point of time, being at the forefront of digital inclusion. Anurag, you'll be surprised to hear this, but there is a very, very big portion in our country where folks do not have access to either the hardware needed or the software or even digital broadband services. So that becomes a challenge. Hey, I can't do my financial transactions because I don't have the secure availability of a Wi-Fi as an example. So how do we use that? So we are at the forefront through our foundation, ensuring that we can do best for our community. And when I say community, I mean the whole country, because our members are spread throughout the country, and we want to ensure that they have access to the best possible services. So this is not something they have to think about. When they are transacting with a financial institution like Alliant, being digital only, the way I explain it is pre-COVID, we closed all our branches, but what we really did was we transitioned the definition of branches. So instead of having X number of branches, we made sure that every single member has a branch in their hand. So at this point, we have over 850,000 branches. It's in the palm of your hand, and we'll provide you that service through being savvy, selfless, and social responsible.
That's a beautiful look into it, right? I mean, think of your members having a digital branch in their hand because they have the mobile app. Right? That's something which is very different to think about, and there are basic tenets, Smith, right? I mean, if a member can transact in a ATM of a different financial institution and still not get charged over that, these are basic things that a consumer expects out of an institution, right? And I think you are nailing all things right. The SSS. I mean, this is specifically. I think I would just want to clip this out and share with my entire network the SSS framework of Align. This is fantastic, and I think that's the reason. I mean, your strategy pre-COVID to post-COVID. I mean, you've seen a huge phenomenal growth. Not pre-COVID to post-COVID, but for the last couple of years. I think you've just grown almost. Looking at your numbers, almost 40% you've grown over the last few years, right? So, I mean, by now I have a fair bit of understanding where did the growth attribute to, but do you want to talk about the few factors that actually attributed to this phenomenal growth of Alliant?
I think it comes down to being able to deliver the best value proposition for your members in a very seamless manner where members realize and can use the services that you're providing without the hesitation or friction. We measure ourselves in terms of net promoter score. For us, member satisfaction is pretty huge. Our net promoter scores are twice that of the top bank averages. And that's kind of where we feel proud. I don't think growth comes from a perspective of, hey, just generating more members or more accounts. It comes to being able to provide the right relationships. So for us, we always look at how do we build relationships with our members? And if our members are coming to us, is it for that right mix that we can help them with, right? It could be financial education, it could be digital inclusion, it could be the right product or services, and different points of their life stage, right? It could translate into certain products like a mortgage product or an auto loan, or just a certificate of deposit or even just retirement savings. It's that relationship that binds them. We have members that have been with us for multiple generations. Very recently, I was talking to one of our members who's been with us for over 40 years. And just having that conversation and speaking with him and understanding why and feeling so proud of how we can make a difference there. Anurag, for all our executive meetings, we start, and not just executive meetings, our town hall and broader team engagements as well, we start every meeting with what we call our mission impact story. And what we mean by that is we'll share an example of a very recent experience a member has had with us. It could be a positive or it could be a constructive feedback. We don't shy away from that. We want to hear what our members have to say. We expanded that to not just our members, but also our community, what we are hearing back from the community and the experiences they're having, and also our employees. And that makes us feel so connected. And I think
Yep,
that growth is a byproduct of that. You build those
absolutely.
relationships, you provide the right services they're looking for, you have high net promoter scores, there's word of mouth, there's referrals, members will come and join. You want to open an account with us and become a member, you have questions. So for example, some of the questions we get is, hey, how do I become a member? Or do I need to become a member? How is that different? What is the eligibility? What is the field of membership? It's up to us to make it very, very simple for them to understand, right? You can become a member. Anurag, you can join us and become a member with us by contributing to the Alliant Foundation. And we
Yep.
actually will make that donation on your behalf and make it so much easier. In that same flow where you'll become a member, you'll open an account, and you will fund that account within that same transaction in minutes.
Yeah.
Very, very, very seamless process. And that's kind of where that growth comes from. So, growth by itself is not the objective. The objective is relationships where we can provide true value to the members and they see that ability for Alliant to be their partner in financial well being.
Key word out of the conversation, the last question was relationship. I mean, that's where possibly the larger financial institutions, I mean, might miss a mark, right? I mean, the relationship cannot be a P&L. At the end of the day, it's human. It's human talking to human. That's the most important thing. And still, you not having a branch going all digital, but still, ensuring that deep conversation, that deep relationship, understanding the need of a consumer. I mean, you guys have done a phenomenal job. It's a use case. I mean, we can just talk maybe hours about that, right? But in the interest of time, Smith, I want to ask you one overarching question. Both of us have been doing analytics, now called AI, right, for years now. You from Citi, now at Alliant. I mean, now at times I get boggled by people talking about AI everywhere. I'm like, okay, let's take a break. Let's take a break. Let's talk sense. Let's talk analytics, right? So our overarching question. So, what are your 2 cents on AI, right, and using ethical AI for credit unions?
Yeah, you know, it's a very, very broad topic and we can go in many directions. We are in a world where technology is transforming at a phenomenal pace, and artificial intelligence has been around for a very, very long time. We have so
Yeah.
many use cases we can talk about. But we are in an era where cars are driving themselves. Streaming services know what we should be watching or what we want to watch, even though we don't know the title of that movie. That is kind of where the magic is happening. I will say, focusing more on financial services, artificial intelligence is either actively disrupting or is very strongly poised to disrupt every sector of our lives. And at Alliant, we are built on embracing and leading that digital disruption. So I'm excited by the opportunity to marry both, right? That's the way I'm looking at it. As a society, we are still very in the very early days of understanding how to best employ these technologies. I believe it does harbor vast potential for tailoring even more personalized member experiences and benefits as they pertain to banking and financial services in general. But you mentioned ethical AI, right? Those industry guardrails will absolutely need to be in place to ensure it's fair and it's ethical deployment and respectful and secure. And that is what the members will look for in terms of as we adopt these technologies, as we build newer technologies, as we disrupt in the space. That is where that loyalty and engagement will come from. Let's make sure that we have the right reasons for doing it. In our case, wowing our members. Thank you, Anurag. This was an absolute pleasure talking to you and being able to share with you how we approach member centricity. We are maniacally focused on providing the best experiences for our members. Happy to share any case studies or examples with you at any point of time. Thank you so much for this opportunity and looking forward to engaging with your audience.